right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Les McCurdy, McCurdy's Comedy Theater and Humor Institute. You'll see with me, we are going to do a mock debate based on the debate that was done Tuesday night. I will be playing Senator Leslie from Florida. I'll be taking the Republican point of view. Will Loria from Florida Studio Theater will be playing Senator Will from Illinois, taking the Democratic point of view. And our esteemed moderator, recently inducted into the Comedy Hall of Fame, legendary comedian Dick Smothers, will be our moderator for the evening. Dick has a set of questions for us that are based on the same questions in the same order of the presidential debate, with the except of the fact that they are generalized because many of those questions were personal to them from the moderator. Now, we are going to do this as an improv structure. This is where the comedy and the ridiculousness comes in. It's called fill in the blank. You can see on your screen there is a word. At times, one of us during a statement will ask for a word, and the word will come up and we have to use it right there in the statement and justify it. So, as an example, hey, climate control, what a lot of people don't realize is windmills are not clean energy. As a matter of fact, they emit a lot of confetti. And a lot of people don't know what confetti is. As a matter of fact, I didn't know what confetti was until I did some research. It's akin to flatlining. You know, it just kills everything. Okay, so that's the way it goes. And whatever is said using the fill in the blank word becomes fact for the rest of the debate. All right, so we will start now. And now at this point, I am Senator Leslie from Florida. Will is Senator Will from Illinois. Dick Smothers is our moderator. And Dick Smothers, if you will start the debate.
Excuse me, before we get started, has anybody identified themselves as red or blue? I didn't hear that.
Red.
You are Republican, is that correct, Les?
Mm-hmm.
May I call you Senator Les or just Les? Is that okay?
I would appreciate that.
Yeah. And Will, Senator Will from state of Illinois.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we might also categorize all these questions as hot topics.
Hot topics.
They're hot topics. These are in the news. You've heard them. We're going to hear them in a unique way from these two esteemed senators. First question, is this the best place for the country to place Justice Barrett on the Supreme Court before the inauguration of possibly a new administration? Let's start with you, Senator Les.
You know, of course. I mean, and first of all, I just want to say that I'm proud to represent the Republican Party. We've made this country great. We're going to make it greater, or you can call me a chimichanga, and I mean that, and I'll dress the part. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're going to place this esteemed justice in, and I'll tell you why. We won. You know, here's the deal. It's like a football game. You go out, you toss the coin. We won the flip, and we get to receive. And we're going to receive a Supreme Court justice. And this woman, let me tell you something a lot of people don't realize. She has an award that has not even been mentioned. She has an award in product. She can move some product, this woman can, you know, and a lot of people have never used the Supreme Court as a way to move product, you know, as a capitalist. And that's one of the main things that she's going to change on the Supreme Court. And one of the products that I'm really proud of that she's going to be endorsing is Tetra. Tetra is really a shortened version of cream pies. And I'll tell you what, I want to end it with this. If we now can have a justice on our Supreme Court that can cream pie, this country is going to be a better place.
Thank you very much. You actually had 30 more seconds, Senator, but you don't have to do your full 2 minutes. I think that was enough too.
I think
Senator Will
summed it up with cream pie, sir.
Let's go. And no interjection, by the way, while the other's talking. You get up to 2 minutes, Senator.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dick. I couldn't disagree more with my colleague in the Senate, Senator Les. I mean, to use his football metaphor, all right, we're coming down to halftime. Why rush Why don't we just take that? Why don't we just kneel, put the ball down? All right. Like the mythologers used to say, why rush when you could take your time? And I think we want to take our time. Much like when the Crips and Bloods are fighting against one another, they like to take their time, all right? They like to take their time in their fights. I say we take our time. We are kind of like the Crips and Bloods in a football game, Senator Luss. And so we should take our time, wait until after the election. The election is the halftime show we've all been waiting for. The election is Beyonce. The election is Janis Jackson. The election is like In-Excess singer, all right, who committed autoerotic asphyxiation. This is what we're all looking forward to. Maybe after that, then we could seat a Supreme Court justice. Maybe then we could deflower the process and put in a new justice. And so that, with that said, I just want to say that let's let the election happen, and then we will deflower the process and seat a new Supreme Court justice. Thank you, Dickie.
Well, yeah, you're welcome. Very well said. Now we have a short time for a discussion where you could talk back and forth to each other and or correct one another, of course. Or do we want to do that in this particular format?
I think that could lead to some saucy behavior, but I think let's stick.
Let's move on to. Okay, there's a second part to this
so
question.
That we don't belabor this.
Okay, second part of the question though is, if she is approved, where do you think Justice Barrett will take this court?
Well,
I'll start with you, Senator Les.
I have one word for where she'll take the court. Wonderkind, Wonderkid, Wonderkind, Wonderkid. That's all.
That's it?
Yep.
And how about you,
That's
Senator?
where she's taking it. Wonderkid.
Well, this is what I'm going to say. All right. I am hoping that the new Supreme Court justice, who I don't think will be Justice Barrett, but will be somebody else that the Democrats will choose, that new Supreme Court justice will take everybody to get swifty. Now, I don't know if you've ever gotten swifty before, Senator Les or Dickie, but get swifty is a fun thing that the kids like to do. All right. And, you would head into downtown. You would head into downtown and maybe you would find yourself a nice new, how could I put this? A nice new thong. Okay. Get yourself a nice new thong and then you show it off. And that's what I think the new Supreme Court, and that's how you know. That's how you know that you have this right Supreme Court justice. That's how you know that you have the right Supreme Court. Any Supreme Court justice that is willing to just go out and show it all, show everything they have, that is transparency. And that is the kind of transparency that we want in a new cream pie Supreme Court justice. And maybe that's the only thing we do agree on, Senator Les. All right, golden hats and cream pies for everybody.
Okay, and next question. And this is for you, Senator Les. Should the Affordable Health Care be repealed and replaced or enhanced? And if enhanced, what would include would that include ending private healthcare insurance?
Well, of course, the Affordable Health Care Act needs to be repealed and replaced. We know that. It's a disaster. It's become way too expensive. I mean, the average person that has affordable health care, they can't even go into an emergency room situation with a top part of their joy division injured and get covered on that. If you've ever had the top of your joy division injured and you cannot get that covered, I'm going to tell you right now, 4 of my friends had that happen on a golf course one day. They were struck by lightning, and the top of their joy division was a mess. And they went in to get fixed, and 3 of them did. The one that didn't still has a terrible problem with licking, with being licked. Can't be licked anymore. And can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? No more licking at all because of and that's all just a part of.
I just gotta say that Senator Les is only worried about his rich friends having their joy divisions licked. His rich golf friends. I think everybody deserves. I'm sorry.
Please,
I'm sorry.
Please, Senator, the esteemed senator from Illinois, the senator
Yes,
from
excuse
Florida.
me.
It's not
Do I get
finished
my
his
time
term.
back? Do I get my time back?
Yeah, I'll add back 10 more seconds.
Okay. Now, let's put it this way. The other thing that's going to happen is that without affordable, with the Affordable Health Care Act, it changed. One, private insurance. We can't lose the insurance industry. It's a huge industry in this country. How many people does it employ? Millions and millions. And if you take away, like I have private insurance, and if you take away private insurance in this country is going to turn to shots. It's going to turn to just shooting shots constantly to self-medicate. And when you start self-medicating, you're going to move from shots to other things that are even worse, like algorithmic.
You have 10 more seconds, Senator.
Algorithmic bankruptcy is where this can go if the affordable health care is not completely taken away.
Okay. I hope you held that thought, Senator. I'm sorry I had to cut you off, but it was a senator from Florida this time. Now, you were talking about the licket. The licket part of it was giving you some consternation, or you didn't agree with the licket?
I believe that my colleague, the senator from Florida, is really only looking out for his rich golfing buddies and and licking their joy divisions. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story, Dick, and this is a story about America. Okay, and I'm going to tell you a story about a young man called Weenus who lives in Wisconsin. All right, now Weenus does not have insurance, and one time Weenus got hurt. You know how Weenus got hurt? Weenus got hurt because he forgot where he was going. And when he was driving back, he lost his memory, Dickie. He lost his memory, and he drove right into someone else's joy division, okay? And now both Weenus, the driver, and this other person whose joy division was hurt, both of them without insurance will never get their fat asses fixed again, okay? Fat asses being another major epidemic in our country. I mean, yes, we have a pandemic, but we have a major epidemic of fat asses, right? And those fat asses can't just be taken care of by private insurance. You need healthcare for everyone to address those fat asses. And one more thing, Dickie, one more thing. I think that our healthcare system should cover deaf animals. Okay, not only people, but we should cover all animals, especially the deaf ones. Okay, poor animals can't hear where they're going. They're getting hit by trucks. They're dying on the roads. And all you can see after that truck runs them over is the bald skin on the asphalt. Okay, and so that is a tragedy, Dickie. And I would say not only healthcare for all people, but healthcare for all deaf animals. Thank you.
I had a question to start with you. What if some of these very good areas of medical help come up, pre-existing conditions? Which ones do you think should be covered and not covered? Let's say.
Well, I think we just heard what the Democrats want to do. They want to cover deaf animals, for God's sakes. You know, that's where we're going. They want to cover everything. Everything can't be covered. You can't cover hazelnut.
Now listen, my father had hazelnuts. My father had a severe case of hazelnuts, and he died young because of that. Now, if we had a strong healthcare system, he would maybe still be alive.
Look, I'm sorry that your dad died of hazelnut, and I know it's a terrible way to go, you know. But let me tell you something. If we tried to cover everybody with hazelnut, then we got to start covering everybody with cupcake. You try to cover everybody with cupcake, who's going to say where the frosting stops? That's what I'm going to know.
Yeah, all right, so you're basically concerned with over-abuse of a good program, but it's easy to abuse. Is that what you're saying?
Of course. I mean, once again, there's certain things that can be covered and not bankrupt us. But you start covering hazelnut, cupcake, you don't know where the icing stops. Next thing you know, this entire country is in a situation where they can't even cover Allah. And when you can't cover Allah, you're uncovered. Oh, boy.
Okay. I think you covered that just very well, both of you guys. And let's see, your plan going, let's get on to something else, which has to do with healthcare. And what is your plan going forward to deal with the COVID pandemic? That is really a hot topic, and it's not going away soon. So in regards to infection, mitigation, vaccination, do you have faith in the scientists or your intuition, the CDC, the FDA? How would you go forward? We'll start with you, Senator Les. No, let's back it up. Let's start with Will from Wisconsin. Senator Will, let's start with the Democrat here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dickie. I appreciate it. You know what? I do follow science, and I follow my intuition because my intuition follows science, and I follow my gut because my gut follows science, okay? And I follow the CDC, the FDA, the FBI, whatever anyone tells me to do, all right? If they tell me to cover my body in lavender and that'll keep COVID away, I will cover my body in lavender. You know what? If they told me that the cure was excretion, okay, of anything, you know, pull any part of my body out, then I will mandate it for everybody. Your local CVS and Walgreens will excrete whatever you need out of your body, all right? And then I will make sure that that paraphernalia is everywhere. Windshields, billboards, streets. I'll have little candy stripers and little kids, Girl Scouts, handing out paraphernalia, and they'll put it right up your butthole and make sure that you understand that this is the way that we will get rid of COVID. No one person will know, no one person will be left untouched, and everybody will know this is how we will get rid of COVID as a country. It'll be a joint venture between all aspects of society. That's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take for us to say bye, boy, to this whole COVID-19 problem. Thank you very much, Dickie.
All right, let's hear from the across the aisle Republican senator from Florida. Les, what do you think of the COVID situation?
Well, I think this is relatively easy. My Democratic colleague just said they're going to invade your butthole. That's how far they'll go.
My words are being twisted. My words are being twisted.
Yeah, do we have to run it back? He said.
No, excuse me, Senator. I don't think he said he will invade it. You have to invite the invasion. And if you invite it, it's not invasion. It's treatment that you're seeking. Now, do you think the Republicans have done a great job on COVID so far?
Yes, we've done a wonderful job.
You turned a corner?
As a matter of fact, from the very beginning of this pandemic, you take within the first 6 weeks of this pandemic, we quickly jumped on GIST. And that wasn't it. You didn't hear about that in the media at all. Not one word about how we took care of the GIST. And if we had not done that, there would have been poon everywhere. And a lot of people,
I never heard of GIST. Is this something you made up, or is this a real item? Is it a thing you're talking about?
It is a thing. You don't know what GIST is? Do you know
no,
what
I don't know what poon is.
Do you know what poon is? Have you ever been to a sorority party, for God's sake?
Is it tangy? Is it sweet? What is it?
It's tangy. But GIST, excuse me. That's wrong.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
It's wrong to find levity. It's wrong to find levity in such a.
I'm sorry. I apologize. It must be a serious issue.
GIST. Let me explain GIST to you. And if you can look at Senator Will's face, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. GIST is something that is when it comes to a virus, it is the part of the virus that is bankrupt. It's bankruptcy part of the virus. And see, here's the thing. You take a virus, and if you're able to bankruptcy just a piece of the virus, it makes the virus flugelhorn into a dowry. So what by us putting the GIST together means that actually the virus created financial income for us to be able to pay for the conquering of the virus all in itself. And we did that, and that's how we got the PPP loan out.
None of this is based in science. None of it is based in science. I just want to say that.
That's not based in science. Senator Les, once you bankrupt and it becomes a dowry, is it over and done? Will it come back? Do we have any antibodies? So does it sneak back into our bodies?
It's there, but it's significantly less effective in what it does to the human body once you've done that.
Okay, I understand that you're instinctive on this, and science says it's not going away until we get a proper vaccine,
Well, of
and that
course
may
it's
not be
going away.
implemented. A
Well, no, it's
proper
not going
vaccine,
away.
we do not know how you're going to be administrated yet, because there's 20, 30, there's countless scientific experts creating vaccine as we speak. It may be a year, 6 months, 2 years before we could get it out there. Now, we all want to open the economies because they're devastated around the world. We all agree to that. Is that correct? But the question is, the difference is how to open them safely. We all want our children to go to school and get educated safely. Now, let's give it to the Illinois Senator again to start off. What's your plan for opening the economy safely? Or is the economy more important than the safety of our constituents?
They're both tied together. Now, you know my nickname as a senator of Illinois. I am called the Tasker, okay? Because I like to give tasks out to everybody. You know what? Sometimes I am not the smartest person in the room, Dickie. Sometimes I'm just a hairy pothead around the rest of my colleagues. So I need to get other people that are the top of their game to help me out. So I'm going to get the best people in education, the best people in economics, get them to work together, put them on a golf cart, let them go out, talk it out. All right. Talk about, what's the latest poon that you've tried, right? What's the, who is the latest wonder kid that you've met? Okay. Get to know each other, but then get right to encapsulate the problems of America. Encapsulate them. Put them in a cap, cover that cap, and solve them. Okay. And so I'm going to get the best minds together to help solve this problem so that we not only get our kids back in schools, but we also educate, we also open up the economies. And you know what that's going to make me look like, and what that's going to make Senator Les look like, and you, Dickie? It's going to make us look like a bunch of sexy men. I'll tell you that much. And then it's going to start raining poons every day.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you can't admit that's good for re-election too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Okay.
I
would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, Senator Les, what do you think?
Well, as far as getting the economy back open, I think we should just open it wide open right now. Why wait? Look, put on a mask, stand 6 feet away, and whatever you do not touch your footnotes. There's no reason to. You start.
I agree with this. I agree with you.
Don't touch your footnotes. And because as soon as a lot of people don't realize that even though you mask, even though you properly distance, as soon as you touch your footnotes and then touch your rumble and start shaking it and rumbling around, all bets are off. So if we can do just those proper things, we can open up the entire economy. There's no reason that, let's say, nightclubs and bars, these big party gatherings, they say that's been one of the main reasons this has spread, and church services, but if you get a big gathering like that, a large gathering like that, trust me, as long as you don't have any drugs involved, you're going to be okay. Okay. Now I know that's hard. I know that's hard to get a large gathering and have no drugs involved whatsoever. And when I'm talking about drugs, I'm not talking about aspirin, of course. I mean, I'm talking about pride. I mean, that's a drug. When you get people that are really proudful, all hundreds of them together, well, what's going to happen is they're going to start to compress against each other. That's what prideful people do. They compress. They want to get close to each other. And if they get too close, then there's street knowledge that the virus then is going to interject. And maybe this goes back to the butthole reference the senator talked about earlier.
It was metaphorical.
How about the concept of herd immunity? I hear all you need is about 70 to 80% compliance. Yes. And if they all get it, we'll only have about a couple million more deaths. But that on the greater scheme of things, what's a couple million, right? Here or there.
Well, exactly. And the thing about it is, I mean, we never know what our day is going to be, and it's sad, but still. Herd immunity is how we have defeated pandemics for thousands of years. And why should we buck it? I mean, and by compressing prideful people together, you are creating more herd immunity. And eventually it's going to make us all feel better about our scrotums. And if we feel good about our scrotums, trust me, we feel good about going to a coffee house. And you know those ones.
Yes. Well, I think we've talked this one pretty well. I'm going to stick with you, Senator Les, and give you the first shot at this one. We all know it's the president, since the beginning of time, has promised to show his tax returns, just like any other recent president. Absolutely. He's promised us that, but he says it's not legal, it's not proper to show him while he's under investigation. Now, he's paid very little tax the last 2 years. Fact is, $750 total tax for his first 2 years in office. And he's been under investigation forever. And he says he will show them afterwards. But do you think it's relevant that he pays tax or not?
Look,
what's your opinion on this?
How is that relevant, really? And I do want to say this. It's relative also. When you say he paid hardly any taxes, well, you're saying that relative to how much maybe he's worth. But let me tell you something. To a lot of people I know, $750 is a lot of damn money. You take $750 and you can buy a lot of diamonds. They're those factory made ones, but still they look very much the same. And I'm going to tell you this, what difference does it make? I don't think any elected official should have to show their taxes to anybody. That's their own secret. That's what makes America great, is they give you the opportunity. We've done it through legislation over decades. We give you the opportunity to take your taxes and lessen them by indigestion. If you feel sick at your stomach about something that you've done, probably done the right thing when it comes to taxes, if you know what I'm talking about. It's like, look, if the loophole wasn't there, then it wouldn't be there, but it's there. Real estate people all the time, it's very common in real estate that they don't pay much taxes because usually they have a lot of write-offs just in bright work and come field bright work. When you come fill some bright work, I'm going to tell you, you can write off millions of dollars on that every single time. And that's just one of the places that we've allowed it. So if you wanted him to pay more taxes, you need to change the codes. You need to change legislation. You need to make it more cut and dry. Say everybody pays for schnockered. Everybody pays to get schnockered. Everybody, 100%. But that's not the way it is. And so I think no, it's not relevant.
It's not relevant. It's in fact, it's un-American not to pay the least of taxes possible. I understand that, but legally, avoiding taxes on a legal way. What do you think, Senator Will?
I'm not surprised that my opponent here is aware of every single loophole on how and getting themselves around the tax code, everything from come filled bright works to getting schnockered, all in an effort to avoid taxes. And you know who ends up losing? The American people end up losing, okay? Because all of that money could have been coming straight to the American people. All right, but instead, we've got all of these gazillionaires with narcolepsy, all right, not paying their taxes, all right, and then suddenly we find ourselves trillions in debt. So, do I think that it's important? Heck yeah. When I'm on Tinder, I try to be as transparent as possible, and I expect my president to be as transparent as possible as well. All right. So even if I become president, I'll stay on Tinder and I'll continue to be transparent. All right. I'll show everybody that I love pandas, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right. And you know what I'll also do? I'll show my tax returns. That's how transparent I'm going to be. People are going to know everything about me. They'll know that I'm all right because I love pandas. I'm all right because I love the movie National Treasure. I'm all right because my tax returns are honest. Okay, and they'll also know that I've never read past chapter 2 of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because I can't. All right, and you know what? You know who likes that? Millennials like that. Millennials like that kind of honesty, Dickie. And that's who. Those are the next leaders of our great nation. Those millennials. So this is what I want to tell them. Millennials, if you want to succeed. Remember, be super hard, work super hard at it. All right.
Well, thank you. Your time is up on that question, but this is also related to money. We all know the Republicans pushed through a very, very major tax bill, and they gave most of the tax cuts to the very, very rich. They got phenomenal money back, and very little to the hard-working bulk of America. And if the Democrats, this is for you, Les, first, Senator Les, if the Democrats are voted into office, they intend to put in a new tax code where they raise the taxes for everyone making over $400,000. Now, there's an awful lot of people, let's face it, that are under $400,000, so they will get a big benefit. Do you think this is a better division of the tax bill?
I understand how logically you would think that would be better. Logically. I mean, just to an unsophisticated mathematician, someone that doesn't understand the intricacies of our economy and the nuances. Look, you've heard of trickle down. Well, what we've created is Tinkle Down. It's called Tinkle Down. And when you give the wealthiest 10% in America huge tax breaks, what that means to the average American is that they're going to receive much more of the hazelnut. Now, this isn't the hazelnut disease. This particular hazelnut is actually worth more than gold. It is. It's very rare. This particular hazelnut is a type of currency that is used in some trashy places in the world. And we're starting to work with those trashed out countries to bring this into our country. And then that way, see, the third world will look more second world here. We're trying to get the third world to look more second world. And this Tinkle Down that I'm talking about, there's no doubt that it works. It means that everyone in this country, every average citizen in this country, is going to be able to afford lights. And I'm just afraid that without it, people won't have lights. And we can't have that. And that's where the Democrats tell you, you follow the Democrats, you'll have no lights. And that's the truth.
Not true.
That's the truth.
Not true. That's not true at all.
Okay,
No.
Senator Will, I think
everybody will have lights.
Senator Will, what do you think about that? The super rich traditionally being a Republican stronghold, pay for the super rich and let the peasants eat cake, so to speak. Is that a valid assessment?
I think now is the right time for me to unveil my economic plan. And my economic plan is known as Tang. T-A-N-G. Tang. Take all, not given. Take all, not given. Okay? That is Tang. All right. So you want me to explain it? I'm sure you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Well, what I'm talking about right here. Okay. And this is not socialism. This is not communism. I'm just saying, okay, that there's a lot of money out there. All right. There's a lot of money out there. We know that some of these politicians like to emasculate themselves with their money, buy the gold chains and the big watches, right? Eat their cucumber salads and look all fancy. What I'm just saying is that our government has enough. We've invested in Kratom for the last decade, and that's paying off now. We've got a lot of money in the bank, and I think that money should be distributed fairly to everybody from top to bottom, not just saved for Senator Les's Olafs at the top echelon. Okay, I think it should be. I think everybody deserves a piece of the pie. Everybody gets a seat at the table. All right, everybody deserves a little pat on the bald skin. Okay, not just the richest. All right, I'm just saying, like, we live right now where some people are the cum dumpsters and some people are not. Okay, And what I'm just saying is that it's a time to end. No more cum dumpsters, no more jail baits. Okay, I want everybody to have an equal opportunity to the Putin. Okay, and I think once we have equal opportunity to the Putin, then everybody's on fair ground. And that's I love pandas. I just want to say that one more time.
You want to
and
say
golden
it one more
hats.
time?
I love golden hats. I love pandas, and everybody deserves a piece of it. Thank you, Dick.
Okay. Now, in light of recent events and past policies, what is the best plan moving forward to deal with racial inequality? Would you like to take that first, Senator Will? Racial inequality, is it exist, and how do you deal with it?
It does exist. It does exist. It is systemic. It's everywhere. And you know how we're going to finally get people to see each other, not just through the look past and not just see the color of their skin and all of that. We're gonna go into absolute anarchy. Okay, and I'm just talking absolute anarchy. That is the best way to kind of just shake everything up. All right, and see that, you know what, we're all created equal. Okay, I want you to answer me this question, Dick. All right, when you eat a cucumber, okay, whether it's big or small or light green or dark green, I know you don't care. Okay, all right, I know you don't care. You just like those cucumbers. All right, when I walk into a pawnbroker's shop, as I often do, okay, I don't judge the pawnbroker. All right, I just want him to be faster with the transaction. All right, and now I say all of this because I think we're all too caught up. We have been systematically programmed to care about race. Those are alternative facts. All right, it is time for us to now just care about everybody and not get stuck on the color of our skin. All right, and that is going to take a lot of retraining and a lot of knowledge sharing. I met a street shitter once. That's right. He used to shit the streets all the time, right? And he told me, you know what? We all shit the same color. And then I got jacked up soon after that. But he was right. We all shit the same color. And that's what taught me that, you know what? Underneath the color of our skin, we're all the same inside. And that's what I want Americans to know. We all shit the same color. That's my next commercial, by the way.
Oh, that's your take on that. Oh, Senator Les, you know, white privilege, does it exist? Racial inequality, they sort of go hand in hand. What's your take on it?
Well, you know, America offers opportunities to everyone. If you're willing to work hard and, you know, create a big Olaf's, let's just say as an example, it's a fine ice cream shop, and you could be any race in this country, any race in the world, and if you're here in America, you could create a big Olaf's. That's what I'm trying to say. You could create Soylent Green. If you saw that movie, that was where it was actually human beings that had been made into food. That's kind of an extreme, but you would have that opportunity. You know, let's look at, I mean, I just think that it's all about a work ethic. You know, if you're, does everyone have opportunity? Yes, everyone has opportunity. Are we saying that the white culture has more opportunity, that I had more opportunity because I'm white and I'm very attractive? Well, maybe that's true, but you know, that's true anywhere. It's true anywhere. You know, I don't think it has to do with race. I think it has to do with how attractive you are. You know, I mean, let's look, that's what people don't talk about. Someone, you know, think of how many people are getting surgery, augmentations to become more attractive. They don't like the look of their chub. And so they go in and they have some type of weight. They actually surgically remove the chub, which is extreme. Many people are forced to go through things where they completely change their favorites. I mean, I'm not a motorcycle person. That was obvious there for a second. But, you know, let's say you're a Harley person. But someone's like, they discriminate you against you because you don't ride the crotch rockets. And that happens a lot. You get on a big Harley, you get a big hog in between your legs, and then next thing you know, here comes a crotch rocket, you know, and they're treating you like you're not part of the greatness. You're not part of it. And so it's not just racial. Okay, let's get it. It's a lot of different things. And what it amounts to is opportunities there, work hard in America, and anyone can have a golf cart. And that's true. Anyone.
That's very well said.
Thank you.
Let's see. The next. Did I get to you on that one? Well,
You did.
Okay.
We all shit the same color was my final line.
Remember, they shit the same color.
That's
what the Democrats.
And that has to do with taking medicine in the rectum. I see you are called the senator, the butt senator. I hear and understand no matter what question you're asked, and this makes you real popular. You always say yes, but. Yeah. Are you for this? You say yes, but. And I can see where you're coming from.
He's an ass.
It's very attractive.
He's an ass.
Okay. How about this one? So that's Senator. Let's start with you. What does reimagining policing in this country mean to you? There's a lot of different takes on this. What's yours?
Well, I don't, reimagining. I mean, aren't we constantly reimagining things? I mean, that's what evolution of anything is, I think the police are already doing that. We know that in this country, when it comes to law enforcement, that most of law enforcement, the vast majority of law enforcement, are doing a great job. They put their lives at risk every day. They're out there dealing with wombats constantly. And a lot of people don't realize how much they deal with wombats and how dangerous it is. I mean, think about when you get up and go to work every day, do you even have to think about dealing with something like a wombat that could possibly come out of nowhere and Putin all over you? And the Putin from a wombat, when it hits you, it's like being hit by a hairy pothead. And that's what they deal with every single day. Reimagining is simply, let's talk about like the cameras that they can wear. Okay, cool. That's cool. Cameras. But they should be in total body armor. We're not spending money on that. Not total body armor. They have the chest armor. But what if they get hit in the leg? Boom. They should have leg armor. We're not spending money there. We're not protecting them like we should be. You should have a blue waffle that every law enforcement person can have for breakfast every single morning. And that blue waffle would be something that is injected with some nanobots, which we actually have these now, nanobots, that will go into the system of the law enforcement officer and make their skin a footnote of joy division. It creates joints that are like titanium, and then they get a little bit of indigestion, but then they get all jacked up. And then when they go out and enforce, they have a complete Jabberwock. And that's what it's called. It's an internal shield called Jabberwock. And it makes them impervious. That's the kind of thing that I would like to see happening in law enforcement. That's the reimagination to where they're impervious. That's the way I would want to be if I left the house, knowing that wombats were out there doing, and so many others that I might have to come in contact with and deal with. That they do. You're
dribbling on a little bit. Can you let me know when you're done? I'm having a little trouble timing this.
I'm done. I think that was enough.
You're done?
I think I got my point.
Okay, Senator Will, do you agree with that take on reimagining the police department?
I I couldn't disagree more, and I'm trying. I'm trying to disagree less, but I can't disagree more. I mean, there's so much disagreement. No, we're not talking. I think the line of my party is being misunderstood when we say defund the police. Here's what I want you to think of. I'm speaking directly to the American people. Okay, maybe somebody stole your fanny pack. Well, then we have a stolen fanny pack division of the police department. Okay, and then, or maybe here's another scenario. Okay, maybe it's really bright at work. Okay, it's really a bright work day, and so we have a department within the police department that handles bright work situations. Or maybe there's a lot of dazzlement. You walk into the street and it's just, you're getting dazzled by everything. So we have a section of the police department that handles that. Okay, so we have different sections of the police department that handle different things. Instead of having one person who handles bright work situations, dazzlement, someone touching your junk, someone stealing your fanny pack. No. Someone chopping off fish dicks, right? We instead of having one person, we have a bunch of them. Now imagine, Dickie. Imagine a section of the police department that just focuses on people cutting off fish dicks. Right? Now, so I'm just saying, like, maybe we pretend we have cops who play role-playing games, that play RPGs, okay? This is what I'm saying. All we want to do is separate the police department into a bunch of different departments that specialize in different things. And you know what? Maybe we'll have one part that'll actually address felonies, and that's okay. We just don't need to have police officers that are trying to do everything, okay? As it says in chapter 2 of the Bible, Soggy was all alone one day, misbehaving, drinking his latte, when a police officer came forward and admired him. And I'll stop right there. That's from chapter 2 of the Bible.
Chapter 2 of the Bible. That's very interesting. Okay, let's go back to you, Senator.
I've read the whole Bible. Backwards and forwards.
Every chapter.
Senator Les, what's your favorite passage in the Bible? I understand you're quite a Christian, and I commend you for that. Jesus was a loving
Yea,
God.
though I walk through the valley of death, I will fear no evil.
Where is that verse most said?
On
the way to your execution.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware.
Is that
of
a good time to know that one?
Well, that's one of my favorites. I usually say it every time I'm plumperfected.
Well, I say that every time I disappoint my wife, as I come in the door very late at night.
You didn't plumper when she wanted to be affected.
Hey, let's get back on track here.
Okay.
Hey, let's see how, Senator Les, how would you do you believe in global warming, and how should this country? Seems like we're getting nothing but fire after fire in one part of the country, hurricane after hurricane, tornadoes, all these natural events that are going one after another. Is this a red or a blue thing? Is it a political thing, or is it global warming? And if you believe it, what will you do to mitigate these conditions?
I think you said it very well. Natural. This is natural. I mean, we had an ice age at one point. Do you think all the cavemen were running around building fires? Do you think they were just trying to warm the earth? No, they dealt with it, because you can't fight weather. You can't fight nature. It goes in cycles. Right now it's getting a little warm. Okay, right, it's getting a little warm. Now, they're saying that the average temperature will go up in California over the next 2 decades by 3 degrees. 3 degrees. Now, look, when you go outside on a hot summer day and it's 87 or it's 90, do you go, oh my God, it's 90 degrees? No, you don't say that. You just go, it's hot as having a bankruptcy on your ass. That's what you say. You say that right off the bat. You say, damn, honey, it's as hot as Leslie out here. and I'm pretty damn hot. I'm pretty damn hot. So look, here's the deal. Global warming, I'm not going to say that it's a fallacy, that it doesn't exist, but I don't know how much we can do about it. You know what I mean? I mean, what, we want to switch from our total economy? I mean, oil, gas, coal. I mean, when you use that gives you the ability to butt chug. And God knows, without butt chugging, you know, if you can't butt chug, and you can't do that on electrical power. You can't butt chug on electrical power. You can't butt chug on solar. You can't butt chug on wind. You can't butt chug on nuclear. If you're going to properly butt chug, petroleum.
I disagree. You could butt chug with any of that.
Okay.
The butt expert is here with us again. Seems like he knows everything.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Butts, for God's sakes.
Well, it's still your time. But you want to answer with that, Senator?
Yes, I do. I have. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Just one other thing. Just one other thing.
Disagree. Go ahead.
Okay. You're willing to upend the economy on this whole thing, you know, and the Green New Deal, you know, upend everything, change it all tomorrow. You can't change it tomorrow. Okay. You got to phase it. All right. If we're going to electrical, we're going to wind, we're going to solar. Well, maybe that's because it's more lucrative, but we can do that in 30 years from now when people like me are still looking for a clitoris. And you know as well as I do, by the time we find the clitoris, we'll be out of petroleum. And we'll be on solar and wind without having to worry about doing it now. You know, so get back to looking for the clitoris.
And I think that's the major difference between your party and mine, Senator. We have found the clitoris, and that's why we're now able to move on to other energies. We have found it. We have mined it. All right. And I'll be a bit more specific. Okay. We're ready to move on. We're ready to move on to wind energy, water energy, pansexual energies. All right. I'm open to all of it.
Pansexual energy.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Now that means that energy just doesn't go one way. It goes all ways. Okay. All right. I know. You all think that you just, live that thug life and dig into the ground and take whatever you want. All right. When we look at pansexual energy, everything is there for us to turn into energy, whether it's the sun, whether it's the wind, whether it's the water, whether it is butt farting, chugging. All right. It's all able to be turned into energy. I want us to remember the great movie Ruby, right? Rudy. But I want us to remember the movie The Wizard of Oz and those ruby slippers, okay? And how she always wanted to go back home to Kansas. Well, pretty soon, Boggy, there's not going to be any more Kansas to go back to. As those fires start spreading from west to east, okay, there's going to be no more America. And the only thing that's going to be left is a 103-degree Florida with our senator there blowing this flugelhorn, okay, on the last remaining dry spot of the country if we don't start addressing climate change right now. It's getting hot. Senator Les, I know that you're hot, okay, all right, but you know what? And I know that when I see you, I just want to put my bib on because I start drooling. But this climate change is a serious thing, and we've got to address it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Now, this is something that I believe we can control, and that's elections. How do we convince, starting with you, Senator Les, how do we convince the American people and the world that this election has been a fair process, considering the much larger normal of mail-in voting, even though it's been going on for years in many states, but a much larger volume, and possible influence by Russia, China, and quite possibly Iceland.
Maybe.
How do we convince these outside influencers are not to corrupt, and more important, the perception of the American people that are placing these votes, that their votes will be counted fairly? How do we deal with that?
Well, it's the bedrock of our democracy that the election system is fair. We all know that. Senator Will and I both agree on that, but we might disagree on some of the ways that you would convince the American public. Now, look, the pandemic has put us in a situation where we're voting differently this year, okay? Many people are wanting to mail in vote. Do we remember several years ago something called a hanging Chad? Remember that? Remember that? That was a problem. That was a problem. And the Gore-Bush vote, it hung on a Chad. Well, this could create infinitely more problems. I mean, you talk about when people are trying to look at this. When 9 times out of 10, when you just try to mail just a postcard to, let's just say you're mailing it to a street shitter. Obviously, we'll know some street shitters. We found that earlier. And it rumbles across the country in a way that we don't know where it goes. Sometimes it can be diverted to Ruby in South Dakota. Sometimes it could end up as paraphernalia in Oregon. Occasionally, I've sent some alternative facts to some people in California that I expected it to go to California. It ended up in Golden Hats, Wyoming. I'm saying the mail is not perfect, okay? People need to vote in person. You need to show up. Now, I know some people have to vote by mail. Military has to vote by mail. Military people are highly educated, okay? They're highly educated. They're highly trained. So I just say this. Anyone who wants to vote by mail has to somehow take a test in the next week or two. And that test would decide if they were trained well enough to vote by mail. And we could get that test out. It wouldn't be a lot of questions. There'd be a few things dealing with whether you wear a thong or not, and maybe possibly maybe a crack in the 80s. Maybe a crack in the 80s. I would say if you're over 80, you don't have to wear a thong. But I think we could put that test out there. We can do it in a week. Everybody that passed the test can vote by mail. Everybody that doesn't pass the test has to show up at the polling place in person and put their ballot in a tub girl that's waiting there, with shots, and she'll make sure that it goes into the ballot box. And then we'll know that it's fair.
Fair. It's got to be fair. Senator Will, how do you convince the American people that they're going to have their say in the voting for the next president?
So once again, my opponent here, right, taking shots at the middle class, at our wonderful postal service, doing as good a job as they can under these difficult circumstances. But you're right. It's not always perfect. And that's why, as the Democratic candidate, I think we should look for all different ways to vote. All right. Take this gentleman I know, Boggy from Texas. All right. He lives miles away from his nearest polling station. All right. He lives in those salty parts of Texas, right? Where it's just dust, heat, and salt. Now, you know what I want Boggy to be able to do? I want him to be able to just log on to your mom and be able to vote from there. Okay. I want him to be just able to maybe, pick up the phone and just call the nearest Joy Division and be able to vote from there. If he doesn't have an internet or phone, I want him to be able to walk to the nearest cum dumpster and vote from there. Okay, I want lamps to be able to count votes. Any street lamp, be able to go up to it, cast your vote in there. Voting should be accessible to everyone, from the loneliest street shitter, all right, to the best golfer, to any of us. All right, we should take pride in a strong election system. Right now, the current election system is like a cryptogram. All right, I get all of these instructions in the mail, and I don't even know what to do. I want it to be nice and easy for everybody, all of us. Equal accessibility, all right, to voting, just the way that cannibals have equal accessibility to meat. All right. Yes, and Bush did 9/11. Thank you, Dick.
Well, thank you. One last question, and this is to the future. It's not the past. Last question: how will your party? We'll start with you, Senator Will. How will your party be a better ruling majority? If it gets the majority, you still win with the minority. And that's another question, right? But if your party's legally elected, how will you do better after this next election? How will you make the country better?
Very easy. We're just going to fix everything that's happened in the last 4 years. All right, we're just going to try to push it forward. We're going to try to make some progress, Dick. Okay, and here's some here's some examples. All right, I remember earlier when we were talking about bright work. All right, those bright working spaces. Okay, we're going to start to turn the lights down a little bit, make it a little bit more calm. We're going to start to clean out the junk. All right, Trump wanted to clean out the swamp. I'm going to clean out the junk. All right, out of D.C. And I'm going to do this all while holding a cold brew in my left hand. Okay, because that's what American wants. Americans want somebody that they could have a coffee with, that they could have a cold brew with. That's someone they could trust. And I could drink a cold brew. All right? Oh, you know what? If good old Harry Pothead wants to smoke a joint with me, you know who's going to do that? I will. I'm going to be the accessible president. All right? If somebody wants to drink some juice, if some little kid wants to drink some juice, I'll do that too. All right, Dick, I'm accessible. I'm the American president. I am there for everybody. All right, you wanna play some sock puppets? All right, put some sock puppets on your ding dongs and run around. I'm gonna do that. All right, that's who I am, Dick, and that's gonna be the new America. All the sock puppets, all the juice, all the joints, all the Harry Potheads. All right, and you know what? I'm gonna protect all those uteruses. I know where the clitoris is. I know where the uterus is. We're gonna take care of them all. All right. Thank you very much, Dick.
Well, it sounds like the Democrats want to rule all the people, serve all the people, not just the people that voted for you. You take a pledge to be the president of the United States for every single citizen.
Correct.
Do you agree? Do you agree with that, Senator Les?
Well, of course it is for all Americans, but we all know that on our side, we want you to have more choice, okay? We want you to have more freedom, less regulations, less taxes, less melons. This country, let's look at the amount of melons that we've had to deal with, cantaloupes, honeydews, watermelons. I mean, yeah, and then we refer inappropriately to a woman's breast as melons. That is taking us backwards, okay? And it's restricting our freedom. What we're going to do over the next 4 years is we're going to make sure the American people can go out every day and they can use all the curse words they want. They can just go out and shit, fuck, God damn it, they can whatever, the George Carlin 7 words you never said. By God, you just go out and motherfucker it. Just go out and motherfucker if you want to, and not be discriminated against before you.
I can't let that go on. Senator Les, I think we need. Do you think it's appropriate to use all those words?
Whether it's appropriate or not is not what we're saying here.
Do you think we need more less or less? I hear the signs in your state said, let's vote less for less.
Freedom of expression, Mr. Smothers.
Okay.
We're taking freedom. We're going to deregulate. I mean, one of the things that needs to be deregulated right now is shamalama ding dong. And I didn't want to end it with this, but I'm going to end it with this. We are going to deregulate shamalama ding dong. And I'm going to tell you, all the shamalama ding dong you want to ding dong, you're going to be able to shamalama. When we get into office,
unbelievable.
You shamalam your ding dong.
Unbelievable.
You do it for America. God bless America. And God bless Blue Waffles.
All right. Thank you. That's into the questions. But I just one last question. How do you feel, Senator Les from Illinois? How do you feel about the future of this country? Win, lose, or draw?
Oh, well, this country is the greatest country in the world. And I'll tell you how I feel about this country, and I'm going to wrap it up in a single word or maybe a short phrase. And this is it. Small dong.
That's good. All I wanted, one word. Small dong.
If we
That's
treat
a good.
That's right.
That's
We
enough.
treat everybody with a
Said it.
small dong the same.
Okay. We're running short. We're running short. Small dong is good. That's a good thing. How about Will? What did Illinois Senator think about small dong? What? No, just yours. Don't comment on that. What's your last word?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I will say this, and I'm going to end on one or maybe a short phrase here, right here.
Yeah, that's good.
The way that I describe the future of America is like this: gravy, just like that, smooth, maybe a little lumpy at times. All right. Always good at Thanksgiving, and Mom always knows best. And it's always good that it's a little fatty. All right, and that's it's all right to be a little fat, America. Okay, and that's all I'll end. But that's my.
I think it's well said.
US of A.
There's nothing that doesn't taste better with a little bit of gravy. Thank you, gentlemen, for the debate. You've been very, very good. A few bad words there, Les, but that might be good for your constituents down in Florida. They got hanging chads. If they could take that, they could take anything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for being the moderator, Mr. Smothers. Thank you for your time.
It's been enlightening, and I'm going to really think who to vote for now. I'm sort of hanging in the middle.
That's what we've all heard.
It's either this, that, leave the country, or euthanasia. I'm not sure. Goodbye and good luck.
Thank you.
And thank you, America, for tuning in.
And cut. That was great. That was fun.
I think you guys did really well.
Oh man, some of those word combinations.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, we're good. Okay, he's getting ready to end the meeting. Hey guys, thank you so much. And,
all right, thank you, Les.
Well,
thank you, Dick.
So good.
Got another debate coming up. I'll call you, Dick, if you're into it. We got 3 more.
Oh, Lord. Okay, take care.
You don't have to do them,
Thanks for inviting me. Bye-bye.
I appreciate it.
Good to see you. Bye, Les.
Bye, Will.
See you later. Take care.